Hey everybody, how's it going? One Piece Chapter 862 review, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing we see is Luffy is fast asleep, with Jinbe trying to wake him up, slapping him across the face, yelling straight in his ear, and it's not working. Luckily, Nami and Chopper right away know what to do, to go get food. Eventually, later on in the chapter, we see that the food does indeed work, ultimately making this first page comedic gold. But I could see how that this could have actually really delayed Luffy. Because if I recall correctly, Luffy all the way back in post-Enies Lobby developed the skill to eat while sleeping. But then again, just the word meat worked to wake up Luffy in Thriller Bark, and meat worked here. So overall, it's a moot point, but I thought it was an interesting thought. I don't think I could do a review on this chapter without talking about the wedding cake. It's huge, it's ginormous, it's beautiful, wonderfully decorated. I cannot imagine the hours that went into just preparing to make this cake. And the altar of Sanji's and Pudding's wedding is on top. But I gotta say, it is a little strange that Big Mom is having the ceremony on top of the wedding cake that she's been wanting so much, anticipating. I mean, we can see how much she is just desiring it in the last few panels of this chapter. And I thought I remembered Pudding saying something about getting blood on the cake, and I was right. And I went back and found it. Here's an image of it. She said that if you get blood on the cake, Big Mom's going to be very angry and she's going to mess up the whole venue. Now, I did notice that the whole altar area had its own flooring, which should protect it quite a bit, but gunshots splatter quite a bit. Why take the risk? I would say this is just Oda wanting to do something absolutely beautiful, astonishing, and overall awesome, which it is. Okay, so these two events are kind of intertwined, but I want to do them separately, so bear with me and hopefully I don't butcher it. Katakuri, Dogtooth. He has a vision of Pudding on the floor, on her knees, crying, and he does not know why. He does not understand why. He did not see why. From this alone, we find out Katakuri's sense of the future is not perfect, that it's fragmented. He did not see the most important part of the future of why what happened. And it's kind of funny, considering that chapter 860 had us convinced that Katakuri could see everything. But I reread that chapter, and he waited for like the last second to kill the guest that was going to attack the wedding. Moving further into the chapter, Big Mom orders the priest to kill Sanji, but Katakuri sees that Sanji will dodge. So he takes matters into his own hands and flings a jelly bean, and Sanji dodges that. Now that tells me that Katakuri needs to be focused on his haki to see visions of the future. Then again, it could be just that Katakuri's future seeing powers is not perfect and he did not receive a second vision. Because what if he had a vision that Sanji dodged his first jelly bean? Well, what if Katakuri could use both hands to shoot jelly beans? He shoots one where Sanji is and he sees where Sanji dodges and flings one there, preemptively. Ultimately, whether Katakuri's visions come by themselves or through focus does not matter. They are fragmented and are not perfect, which allowed Sanji to survive against him. Nearing the end of the chapter, Katakuri places himself in front of Big Mom, clearly having another vision, thinking to himself, there's no way I can stop this. In the very next page, we have the cake, the wedding cake, explode with Luffy, not just Luffy, a bunch of Luffys popping out the cake, just going all over, going crazy. This whole situation is pretty funny to me because I specifically asked in my chapter 860 review, can Katakuri predict Luffy? And it's clear at the end of this chapter, it's a resounding no. Okay, Sanji and Pudding. Sanji's reaction to her eye and what he said is within character, and honestly, I expected something like that. What I did not expect is Pudding's reaction. The question is it genuine? Is she really moved by Sanji's words? Now, I went back into the chapters to look up anything that could show that Pudding is really a good person, and what I found is quite a bit worth questioning. that could end up being like a 20-minute video. So I will stick to this chapter and what it offers. Now, I 100% believe Pudding is being genuine here. Pudding has had a direct order from Big Mom to kill Sanji. She has absolutely no reason not to, because Big Mom would kill her if she disobeys. 2. Pudding is having a traumatic flashback. You cannot fake a flashback. 3. From all the ridicule Pudding has gotten from kids to Big Mom herself, Pudding has come to think very low of herself, that she is just a three-eyed monster. She hides her face, and she probably hides her real personality too. It's probably why she is such a good actor. And I think she's realizing just now in this chapter that Sanji is the first person that she could show her true self and her face and not be ridiculed. Okay, back to the end of the chapter where Luffy and all the clones of Luffy are busting out of the cake. How did they get in the cake, and how did they bust out of it? Well, I believe there was a mirror placed inside the cake. How did the mirror get there? Well, Capone did have 2 of his people working in the kitchen a couple chapters back. I'd like to say that wasn't my idea. I believe it was King of Lightning's, but it totally makes sense to me, so I figured I'd spread it around. Alright, well that was this chapter, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, like, and subscribe, and see you on the next one. And I hope you had a happy Easter.